Hello, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Damien Fahy, the founder of moneytothemasses.com and also the host of the Money to the Masses podcast, which is one of the most popular UK money podcasts. Now, I'm continuing this theme of doing some daily thoughts on practical things people should be looking at with their money. This should be done all of the time, but the tips are particularly relevant now while we're in this period of uncertainty with the economy, lockdown. And it just means we have the time to look at these things, but also you'll have the motivation to do it. And one of the big motivations today is the fear of losing money. Now, if you have money in a savings account, then you may be thinking, I'll just shelter it there, it will be safe. Now, of course, you've got to ask the question, what would happen if your bank or building society went bust? These things have happened in the past. And the good news is that for any bank or building society that is authorised in the UK, you are covered by the Financial Services Compensation Scheme, the FSCS, which will compensate you up to £85,000 for a sole account and up to £170,000 for a joint account. Now, that means that you don't have to ask, well, no questions are asked, you'll get that money automatically if your bank goes bust. And let's say you had £40,000 with a bank, it went bust, it was UK authorised, then you would get that money back. The limit is also extended up to £1 million for temporary high balances. So let's say you sold a house, for example, and you had up to £1 million sitting in your account temporarily until you bought another house. Then if the bank went bust and they're UK authorised, then you would be covered up to that amount of money. Now, there is a bit of a wrinkle in the rules because it's not per bank or per building society, it's per bank or banking licence. Now, that means that you can get brands like HSBC and First Direct who share one banking licence, and it means therefore you only have one limit applied to your money. So let's say you had £85,000 with First Direct and you had £85,000 with HSBC in sole accounts, so in just your name, not joint accounts. Then if HSBC went bust and First Direct went down as well, what it would mean is that you would only be covered for the one £85,000 limit because it's per banking licence. So that makes it very confusing for consumers. Fortunately, there are some tools out there that can help you navigate this. So in the link below this video, I've linked to a tool that will show you can put in your a bank, a name, a brand, and it will tell you if it has a shared banking license and who it shares it with. The ideal situation would be if you're worried about your money being fully protected by the FSCS, because if you have more money than the FSCS will protect, then you lose that if your bank goes bust. If you're worried about making sure your money's protected, then what you would need to do is ensure that your money is split. If you're in sole accounts, then it's £85,000 per banking licence at different places, or if you have joint accounts, it's £170,000 is the limit. So you would need to spread your money around. I'm not trying to scare anybody. I'm not saying this is 2008 all going to happen again. It's just making people aware that they can take steps to protect their savings, particularly if their savings are something they're relying on because it's their life savings. So they might want to spread money around. And back in 2008, I remember when people became very nervous about the banking crisis that was happening then, that people were struggling trying to move their money around very quickly to try and take advantage of the FSCS limits and rules. Now, the Financial Services Compensation Scheme, I'll link to it below in the comments. There's wider things it covers, including investments, certain rules, for example, you need to have a look at. So do make sure you read through it. And one final thing we link to is a useful tool where you can just put in your bank or building society's name, the amount of money you have saved with them, and the FSCS will tell you how much of your money is protected under the scheme and how much is not. So if you found this video useful, do share it with other people. We're going to continue doing these videos. Also, make sure you have a look at our social media pages, Facebook, Instagram and YouTube, because we're producing a lot of content around everything to do with finances, investing, pensions, insurances, mortgages, and there's lots of helpful tips that people are finding particularly useful.